Good morning, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane Pro and Hurricane HD video blog for the first day of summer, officially on the calendar anyway, June 21st, 2013. Happy Friday to you. A couple areas in the Pacific that we're watching, as is the National Hurricane Center. This region here, 10% chance of development over the next 24 to 48 hours, and this one is 20% chance. This whole region becoming much more favorable for development over the coming days, which we'll take a look at here on a satellite picture, and then through some computer models that I'm going to show you. This is the region in question right here. It's actually Invest Area 94E. Remember, the Hurricane Center labels these systems when they are suspect areas, sort of your fledglings or your seedlings, as 90 through 99, a numbering system. And in the case of the East Pacific over here, they get the letter E for East Pacific. If it was in the Atlantic, it would get the letter L. So you get 90 through 99, and then either an E or an L designation, depending on which basin it's in. And we're already up to 94E here in the Eastern Pacific. A broad area of unsettled weather here. Looks like it will eventually consolidate. The Euro, the ECMWF model here, 72 hours out, looking like well south of mainland Mexico here, probably the next tropical storm in the Eastern Pacific. By 96 hours, it grows in size and intensity. So increase in surf along the coast of Mexico here, probably some high clouds, the cirrus canopy, maybe obscuring some of the sunshine down there. Folks that like to surf down here on the southern tip of Baja, you too may be looking at an increase in the waves over the next few days. Finally, at 120 hours, this is valid Wednesday the 25th of June. I'm sorry, the 26th. Got a little behind there. The 26th, next Wednesday. Pretty formidable system. Might be a hurricane out here in the Eastern Pacific. A large one at that, taking up a lot of real estate. So again, the surf will be the big impact here along the coast of California up to the Baja. Good news for those who like to get on the long boards and ride those waves. Luckily, this won't have any other impact, it looks like, because the steering pattern is such that this should stay out to sea and away from shoreline. So hopefully that will remain the case, and this will just be an open ocean system. Looking at the Madden-Julian oscillation, I show you different charts and graphs that depict its forecast. This is yet another different one from the National Weather Service Climate Prediction Center, based on the GFS output. And what we have here are the next 15 days. So this is your analysis here. This is 5 days, and this is 10 days, and then this is 15 days at the bottom. The green is generally your upward motion or your wet phase of the Madden-Julian oscillation, your favorability window. Out here in the Atlantic, you see currently all brown, which is generally sinking motion and not very favorable conditions. 5 days down the road, looks like the MJO comes into the Eastern Pacific, and really strong pulse there. Lots of upward motion going on, spilling over a little bit into the Atlantic basin. By day 10, even more so, very active in the East Pacific, probably going to have 2 developments out there, and even by day 15, staying pretty strong here in the Eastern Pacific, parts of the Atlantic basin as well. The Euro also shows a pretty strong MJO pulse heading into the Western Hemisphere, so things are going to be busy as we end June and get into early July. Now, how busy will they be for U.S. and Caribbean interest? Well, this is the GFS output from last night's run, the 0Z run. This model is run 4 times a day, with the 2 major model runs at 0Z and 12Z. And what that means is the initialization time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time represents the 0Z model, and 8 a.m. Eastern Time represents the 12Z model of when it gets initialized. So this is based on last night's major synoptic run, the big global model run, based on 0Z data. And we're looking out at 144 hours. So this is 6 days into the future. Figured I'd skip ahead to what that MJO pulse might do for the Atlantic Basin. So this is valid next Thursday, Wednesday night into Thursday. And we see down here in the Caribbean what is a little bit of an innocuous looking blue area representing precipitation, some cloud cover there, underneath of which, precipitation falls. That's what this is depicting, is your mean sea level pressure, your 10-meter wind, and your 6-hour previous precipitation total. So what I like to think of is that this represents what kind of convective activity might be in the region. You can also see the wind flow. These are your wind barbs coming through here, and they're pretty straight out of the east across the Caribbean. Then in the eastern Pacific, you can tell there's just a little bit of a wind flow like this. So you got wind flow coming this way, and then wind flow coming in this way, and then right here where they kind of meet up is your area of convergence, and they start to turn. Here the wind flow is this way, and then this one's coming this way. So you start to detect a broad area of lowering pressure and convergence in the atmosphere. And this is your first clue that something might be trying to develop. By day 7, it's even more pronounced. This is now valid Thursday night into next Friday, fully a week out. Here you can see the wind flow southeast, east-southeast, northeast, and then finally west over here, indicating low pressure in the vicinity of Nicaragua and Honduras. So this area starting to sprout a low pressure system right in the western Caribbean, right as that MJO pulse starts to work its way into the Atlantic basin. Finally, by day 8 here, 192 hours out, even more pronounced. You can really tell the GFS has a closed low-level circulation in here, strong convective activity, pretty easy to see the wind barbs with this system, and it's indicating the development of a tropical cyclone. Now you say, well, that's a long way out, more than a week away. The weather forecasts aren't that good. Well, that's true. The details are not what we're paying attention to here. Will this be precisely located just to the east of Belize and to the north of the Honduran coast? Well, probably not. What I'm looking for is consistency in the model, and it has been showing this run after run for the last couple of days. And does it fit the pattern? And yes, it does. We see a favorable MJO pulse starting to work its way into this region with better and better upward motion in the atmosphere, and the water temperatures are warm. This region has been the hotbed for development already this season. It's climatologically favored. In other words, it's supposed to be where stuff develops this time of the season, and we're in an active season. So all of those things tell me we need to be watching this area closely. We'll be approaching the first part of July, and obviously with the 4th of July week coming up and the holiday period for U.S. interests, this could be a big deal. So we want to keep a close eye on it. Even though it's a week out or more, it still bears watching, and with the availability of the computer models these days to give us these tools, excuse me, to see into the future like that, I think you'd rather know than be caught by surprise, right? And it's amazing how well these models are doing in the medium to long range. They're actually pretty good at picking out this tropical development window of opportunity. Once we get to within 5 days, then we can start worrying about where it might end up, and those details of track become more important. All right, so there's your update for today. Have a good rest of your Friday and a great weekend ahead. Again, I'm Mark Suttoth, HurricaneTrack.com. Always a privilege and an honor to do these videos for you on Hurricane Pro and HD. Have a great weekend. I'll see you tomorrow.